regardless of the hype or lack thereof, it's an intriguing draft. There's talent, not a lot of certainty. Some teams are going to swing and miss, and some are going to hit it big. So I can't wait as the commissioner gets ready to take center stage coming up tonight. But I will caution you, because unlike the NFL draft, when you look at the NBA draft, we see potential and we love potential. But you also have to understand some of the players, there'll be 2 or 3 players taken in the top 10 who are 18 years of age. By the time they develop, when they're 22, they could be a bust at 19, 20, or 21, and then all of a sudden you go, wait a minute, I thought that guy didn't get any playing time, or he was on a bad team, and then all of a sudden they emerge. Because if you look at an 18 or 19-year-old and I hand you $3 million, what does that do to you? Just imagine if you have an 18-year-old son and you give him $1 million. Is he more motivated, less motivated? Does he think he's made it? Trying to figure out, trying to project, trying to handicap is really difficult with the NBA. And really, there are guys who follow this. You know, Jay Billis follows this, and I trust what Jay says, but there are times when Jay will fall in love with somebody, and it just doesn't work out. Guys can play, but they can play at a college level. Can you play at a pro level? Can you be a professional? And that's what it comes down to. Do you want to be great? Do you want to get better every year? If you look at the list of guys who are legendary, top 50 players, it felt like they were adding something to their game. There are guys who, they get to be 18 or 19 or 20, and that's as good as they'll ever get. But then that's as good as maybe they want to get, because you have to put in the work. Anthony Bennett at UNLV could play, but did he want to be great? Was he at the wrong size? Was his game the wrong game at the wrong time with the NBA? But there are guys that you look at and you go, that guy can't miss. I feel like this is more of, who do I know can play? I don't want to swing and miss on Michael Porter Jr. because he's got a bad back. Although, when he was coming out of high school, there was the discussion, argument that he could have been the number 1 player taken when he was coming out of high school. And then he goes to Missouri. I don't know much about him. But the guys who do their job, this is their job to know about him, somebody's going to get it wrong. Somebody's going to get it right. And that could be he's either really good or he's a bust. But that's what happens with the draft. We get caught up in this. Why is it that we, in a game where it's about the perimeter, you have guys who are predominantly low post guys? You know, maybe they've foul line extended. They're going up top. You know, Bagley has range. DeAndre Ayton has some range. But this is not about how tall you are. It's how you play at that height. Because you can be 6'2" and be great on the perimeter. You can be 6'2" and not be a great perimeter player. But I got Kevin Durant, who's 7 feet, who plays on the perimeter. Porzingis is 7'3" and plays on the perimeter. So it's not your height. It's how you play with your height. And those are some of the things that I'm factoring in as well. And watching a lot of these shows, and this is the same thing with the NFL draft, you'll go, man, I'm starting to really like that guy. Because when we show you their highlights, that's what they are. They're highlights. And I really believe that you should be showing what they don't do well just to give us a sense of the full package that you get. And that doesn't mean you skew negative, because you know how I feel about that. I feel like we overthink these things. You know, I heard this 50 times, it felt like, in the last week. Yeah, but Trae Young can't play defense. Okay. Steph Curry can't. Steve Nash couldn't. Now, those are top-end, Hall of Fame, greatest point guards of all time. But we get caught up in that. Now, if you say the ratio of what Trae Young is going to give you to what he gives up, and it's not a good ratio, okay, then we can have a discussion. But I think sometimes we look at these highlights and go, man, that guy, he is athletic. Man, he never misses. Boy, that's a great pass. And then you watch a whole game, and that's the way you truly can tell how good Trae Young was. There were times when he would be incredible, but then he was inconsistent. He was forcing. He was tired. They were beating him up a little bit there. His teammates didn't help him. And I'm right there with everybody else. I don't know how good he's going to be. But if you're looking at the 2 guys that I can market out of this draft, it's Luka Doncic and it's Trae Young. I can market those guys. And that's also part of this. So a lot that goes into this coming up tonight. And we're going to look at this Really, I look at it 5 years down the road. With an NFL draft pick, I look at 3 years down the road. With an NBA player, it's 5. Because I go back to Chauncey Billups. Chauncey Billups was considered a bust when he was drafted by the Celtics. And then he became one of the big game shooters in NBA history. Steph Curry, slow burn. You have to let them develop. And in particular, an 18-year-old. Jaren Jackson Jr. is 18. He should be going to his prom. Kevin Garnett, when he first came out, 18, 19 years of age. And you're going, okay, not everybody's like LeBron. And even if you're pinning your hopes on your team, drafting somebody going, we're going to get a franchise player, think again. Now, how many sure things have we had at the top of the draft where you go, that guy can't miss. That guy is, what we built our franchise around. Shaq was one of those guys. LeBron, obviously, one of those guys. Tim Duncan. These guys were a little bit different. It felt like they were a little bit more men than an 18-year-old going. That's what's mind-boggling. You're 18 going into the NBA to play against men. We're going to give you money. You're going to be on the road, maybe on your own. Hey, we want you to develop into something great.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV or download the Dan Patrick Show app.